All right, guys. Jameson and Alex, just want to give a quick status update, of the Patreon and what we're looking to do with that.
Yeah.
We just have released recently here the fourth and last of the 4 primary factions.
Yes.
PDFs on here, so glad to be through that. The first cycle on here.
And I would love as much honest feedback about this one specifically, because this one's the one I had the most
yes.
the most direct input on, with some of the shenanigans based ideas
Yes,
in there.
Absolutely. But obviously we've been pushing pretty close to deadlines on these. So our own self-set deadlines. To be fair.
Well, yeah, but
a lot has been going on for us.
So one of us bought a house while having a 1-year-old at the same time. Spoiler alert,
unplanned.
Neither one of those things are me.
Unplanned house purchase, yes. So that's been really busy for us. And we both obviously work, actual real jobs as well.
Yeah, that too.
It's just something fun we do on the side, mostly. But yeah, we wanted to commit more time and stuff to this. But it is very time consuming, especially for us, because we already have so many other things going on, social obligations, work stuff. So we are pretty packed already with our YouTube channel as well, let alone Patreon, creating all this stuff. Yep. So I think what we're going to try to do is maybe try to slow stuff down a little bit. And instead of compiling a bunch of stuff into one big PDF and releasing it monthly, I think we're going to try to release smaller packets more often. Yeah. So maybe once a week, every other week, hopefully. We'll
instead of having a subclass, 3 monsters, 4 spells, and 2 magic items, it might be this week you're going to be 2 spells. And this week maybe a magic item and a monster and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you're getting something more regular.
Yeah, but not as much at once.
You also want to try to put some stuff out for free to get people, to check out the kind of stuff that we're making.
Yep.
To get them interested. So we'll kind of do some free stuff, and then obviously most of the stuff is going to still be for patrons.
Yes.
For the time being, just to help it. It's very time consuming for us, so it helps to have some kind of incentive to keep doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other, I guess, next big project, we've teased it 3 or 4 times in the last several months, but we're actually going to do it. I wouldn't necessarily call it a full on maybe not podcast, but it'd be more of a long form type of podcast type thing.
Yeah.
Where we just kind of get in here and talk about topics and discuss, and we would like to release that, those type of videos strictly to Patreon at start. We may clip out, individual bits to release, to our normal YouTube channel and stuff. But that's where we would like to maybe dip into talking about other things that aren't just strictly D&D / Pathfinder based stuff, other tabletop gaming things under other games. And to be honest, that's where we would really like to talk to you guys about saying, hey, what would you like to see us talk about? Because it would be a good thing for we could, instead of committing a whole series of videos to stuff to start off with, if you guys wanted our thoughts, we could have a 5 to 10 minute little segment built into this type of a thing, saying, here are thoughts on this or whatever else. Yeah. How that's all tied in. And it could even start off as if you guys just had questions for us you wanted to answer, almost like a AMA thing. Ask me anything, but ask us anything.
And you can always tag us in Discord and stuff if you're on there.
Yeah.
As well, because we might not see it immediately, but I do try to check it.
Yeah, when you're a part of 7 different Discord servers.
Yeah, try 47.
Yeah, and our 2 that are tied to the channel in varying ways are
we have our
87,000 different channels in there.
Yes.
I'm constantly having to ask him, if he put something in, there's now which channel, sub channel did you stick
in Discord, our D&D / homebrew Discord. Yeah, that one's kind of
so there's crazy. And then there's the Google Drive where he sticks stuff, and I was
there's lots of folders and lots of things.
There's subfolders for the folders. Yeah.
Anyways,
so we would like to do that kind of thing because it would give us an idea, to kind of dip our toe other things. Because if things really go well, everybody wants to see, we could start maybe doing full on YouTube video series around it. Mm-hmm. And I think we'll go ahead and maybe spoil the concept. When we were making, these first series of subclasses for these, first 4 chunks for Patreon, with our third person, if you'll see, Jacob's name on the things, if you remember of it. He's a friend of mine from college. He's been in our play group, and he's very much a mixture of the 2 of us. He's got my willingness to push the button on some certain ideas and go wild, and he's got Jameson's, absolute theory craft, nutty brain in certain ways. And he's been invaluable. Absolutely, to both in bouncing off of ideas, just helping us review stuff, play test things with numbers stuff. He's been fantastic. But he had most of the idea for an Artificer subclass. I literally just said, what if we had a subclass built around this? He's like, oh, that's awesome. And he just took off with it. It was like he and I were literally in Discord kind of talking about it, and he just drops out the call, like out the channel, and just like takes off. And he just starts making those. So that's
very interesting.
So he's got an Artificer subclass, and because it's Artificers in that weird...
Yes, it's very awkward with the OGL because it's not in the OGL or the SRD, so you have to be really careful with releasing stuff with it, especially if it's paid. So the plan is, I think I figured out a way to do it to make it work where we can post it out there, but it'll be free.
Yeah,
and I'll probably put a
surprise.
It'll probably be on. We'll do a video on the channel, going through all the abilities since it's going to be free anyway. And then we'll put it on like DM's Guild to download for the art. And the lore. We'll maybe do like a little PDF for it, not as in depth as our full ones, but like more for the the class and everything, because it is a very in depth class, but not class, subclass technically. But with DM's Guild, we'll put it on there for free, like pay what you want, or whatever.
Yeah, if you
don't
if you feel obligated to give us something great, if not, it's designed to be like a teaser to see the kind of stuff we are willing to put out.
And there's like no Artificer. It's there's not a whole lot of Artificer homebrew because it is difficult to like make it like legally without crossing gray areas.
I think the idea we came to, or decision we came to with this, it was the right way to handle it, and because it gives people an idea to see what we're making and that we're willing to do some crazy out there stuff. And as you've seen with the first 4, we've of the full on episodes or whatever you want to call them, I don't know, with the the subclasses and everything else. Yes, we are already working on subclasses for all of the rest of them.
We have drafts at the very least for every class.
So
at least 13.
Our long-term goal is to have a subclass for each class for each faction. Again, that's probably like literally a 4-year.
Now we're probably not going to be able to keep the pace that we're keeping. I'm just going to be honest. It's a lot. We're going to try to keep stuff coming on a regular basis, to reward you guys for sticking with us. And what I'll probably do is compile stuff every so often. So like if we release, this month we release an Inksworn subclass or whatever, it'll just be a standalone thing. But then, after time passes, we'll compile like Inksworn spells. Yes, we didn't do spells in the first one, but we're going to be doing spells for them as well. Probably something we'll be trying to focus on, because if we go through the full cycle again, we're back at Inksworn, which
the order is probably not going to change, just like the rate of stuff coming out, especially like trying to balance a subclass, making all the other items, everything else.
Right, and maybe let us give more time to get feedback as well from people.
Right, because we'd rather take the time to make sure everything is balanced as much as it can be, and it makes the math makes sense, the idea makes sense, the wording makes sense, and before we just start throwing stuff out there to the wind.
So we want to, like I said, kind of drip feed stuff a little bit more. We've gotten behind, honestly, but like I said, we have drafts for a lot of stuff. It's just we want to do it right, and we don't want to just rush stuff out there. Also, art is, I know I said this before, art is expensive. Especially for character art.
Don't necessarily blame people that are doing it, because it's a skill that Lord knows I don't have.
Yes. So, I mean, you can easily spend hundreds of dollars on art. Just one piece of art, like for a character or, So
all the more reason to why we can't
keep keeping it at this rate.
It's also a financial thing of being able to keep firing off.
You can only go negative for so long before you start like, maybe we need to like rethink how we're doing this. But we want to keep putting stuff out there, so don't worry about that. We're going to have content coming.
And and technically we could still release some of that stuff without artwork. It's just it feels kind of lacking when you don't have some artwork in there.
That's my. Or we come back, and the stuff that's popular, we come back and add. Or when we do, if we do a Kickstarter at some point down the line, raise some funds and get some.
It absolutely breaks my heart. It honestly, I am pained inside that the NPC that I created for the newest episode does not have artwork for him.
I have a few. We weren't going to be able to get it in time.
No,
there was no way to get it in time to get it.
Because I was originally concerned about being able to finish him and all of his stuff.
Yes,
because he's in there with all of his stuff in time and getting it all tested, because there's a whole lot in there. But I was like, I really want him to have the artwork, but he needs to be in here. So I was like, we'll end up backdating the art.
Yeah, we'll re-add.
Once all of his cohorts are
in. Compile stuff. Like I'll probably, because we have like Inksworn, Sanguinary, and Ascendant, Warden, Volume 1. What I'll probably do is at some point compile all of them together.
That's twice.
Update some of the spells, some of the magic items if we feel like they need balance. If there's any like errata or stuff we feel like we need to adjust, compile them all together into a Factions Volume 1.
Yeah.
It's like one big...
Terrantal Volume 1? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
So we'll kind of come back and do regular balance passes, especially if we want to do kind of like a preview thing for a Kickstarter at some point.
Yep.
Which it is on our radar to do that. I'm trying to figure out how to do it.
We really want to have
I would like to have more of a following before we try to push it, just because it's a lot easier when you have more people involved. Yeah. And it does cost... I mean, you can eat through a lot of marketing budget for that kind of stuff.
What?
So, easily.
And I like to stress, you like to have a marketing budget, or you would eat through it.
Yeah. Right.
You've got to have the budget first.
You gotta, yes.
So me telling the finance guy about the budget.
You see these Kickstarters, like, and spoiler, I work in finance. So, yes, it's there's a lot when you see these Kickstarters raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's like, they can easily spend, a good chunk of that.
Yeah,
one, in actual production of the product.
Yep.
Two, in marketing. Mm-hmm. And that can be a huge chunk of the total.
And distribution.
Yes.
That's all factored in. Economics, people.
Yes. So there's a lot involved. So it is something we want to do. It's just there's a lot of moving parts to that kind of thing. I've already talked to a few different companies about possibly doing it with them, but still kind of shopping too. And build up more of a following.
We're gathering information now, like researching now, because knowing it's not coming, this year.
Probably not. Probably not. Never say never.
Unless it everything just goes.
If we start popping off randomly, maybe.
Then maybe.
If you guys start sharing it and stuff. But yeah, the more we get on the Patreon side of things, the more it gets us to push in that direction for like a big project.
Yeah.
It's just when you're upside down on stuff, it doesn't incentivize you to go more upside down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Because you do have to put a lot of money up front for a Kickstarter, because you have a lot of time and money up front. Again, for marketing, like you could spend $10,000 on marketing before you even raise $1.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it can cost.
Yeah, that gives me a small terrified.
Yes.
But that's kind of the gist of where we're at right now. This is not a lack of passion for what we're doing on our end by any stretch of the imagination. I will hint on the fact the most recent news with the whole OGL thing.
Yes.
That's
a big weight off.
Yeah, does make me go a little bit, at least, because while we still want to do some Pathfinder stuff, and still
for sure,
it prevents us from like going into a full on panic of like, oh crap, now we can't do the D&D stuff.
Yeah, full pivot would be very difficult.
Yeah, so now we can it gives us the freedom to
branch
to
instead of
branch
full
off,
swivel.
Yeah, to like stick our foot in the water and splash around a little bit, see how it feels.
And I'll say one thing too is you'll probably start to see some things from Pathfinder creep over into some of our homebrew stuff, because there are some things that we really like from some of the rules and stuff in Pathfinder.
So it could be that we try to, I don't know how we're going to do this, but try to do some of our stuff in maybe Pathfinder as well. I don't know how that's going to work. That's going to be, we got to get a better understanding of Pathfinder before we try to go that route. But anyway,
down the line potential.
Yeah. So we'll cut her there. We wanted to take the time to thank you guys who've been with us on Patreon for any amount of time, whether you've been here for a little bit of time or you've been here one of the earlier starters. We so greatly appreciate it. It does make what we do much easier to do, both from financial standpoints. Any little amount helps, because it's a more consistent, stream of revenue. Even if the dollar amount is not as high, it's more consistent and plannable than YouTube ad revenue.
A budget helps.
Yeah, any budget is better than hoping. Well, I hope it's what it was last time, or not half as much, or whatever. Especially and sponsorships can come and go and things like that. And that's all part of it. It's the way things go. So yeah, this is where we're at. Again, please give us thoughts, give us suggestions,
let us know, comments,
what you want to see, because that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
That's what the Discord's for. I'm going to be kind of, trying to head that up as best as possible, to let Jameson keep his focus where it's been, so I can try to handle more of this side of things.
Yep.
Before he pulls out his hair and he looks like mine. I don't want that for him. It's a struggle. So yeah, we thank you guys so much for your time. We're still all in. We're still doing the thing. Appreciate your time for being here. Make sure you still on the video, give us a like, give us a subscribe, notification, know when all of our new videos come out. And as always, thanks for watching.